Vinnie Politan, thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. It's great to have you aboard. And there is a big case that is brewing out in California. It's been kind of simmering and bubbling. It's taken some time, but now things are starting to happen as it moves closer and closer to a trial. I'm talking about a case involving a face you're going to recognize, a very familiar face, a big-time actor, one of the stars of that 70s show. He's been on other programs, including The Ranch most recently. Danny Masterson. Take a look. Here he is. You recognize him. Big star out in L.A., and the accusations are that this actor, this extremely successful actor, is a serial rapist. That there's more than one accuser. We're talking about 3 accusers in this case against Danny Masterson. A 23-year-old woman who alleged rape between January and December of 2001, a 28-year-old woman alleged rape in April of 2003, and a 23-year-old woman alleging a rape between October and December of 2003. You go back in time, that's all when he's sort of at his height of fame through that 70s show, but his career has absolutely continued and continued to be very successful. Now, here's one of the catches with this case that makes it even more complicated to a certain extent, and trying to unravel and figure it all out, is that there was a civil case involved as well with these accusers, and the accusers, former members of the Church of Scientology. But at the time that they're interacting with or allegedly being raped here, they're members of the Church of Scientology, as is Danny Masterson. And that has complicated the case to a certain extent, I believe. There's civil litigation going on as well. But this we're talking about here is the criminal case. And the role of the church came up during the preliminary hearing in this case, and the judge made a ruling. And the judge had to figure out and sort of understand why some of the testimony from some of the accusers didn't necessarily jive with each other to a certain extent. And again, we're looking at cases that are going back to 2001, 2003, 2003. And was there any influence by the Church of Scientology in all of this? And now they were back in court yesterday, and the defense for Masterson is saying that the judge relied upon the Church of Scientology doctrine in the ruling, finding that there was probable cause. So based upon that, trying to get the charges tossed. It's a little complicated, it's a little subtle, but let's listen to what happened inside the courtroom.
So the question I think then becomes, and I think it's very narrow, did the magistrate commit a legal error in how she determined the clear issues of prejudice? So the magistrate then read Exhibit 5 and Exhibit 6. We know that because the magistrate tells us that in her ruling. And here's what the magistrate says. The court's finding of credibility at the preliminary hearing stage is based both on its evaluation of the witnesses as they testify and the exhibits received. Both. It's not disjunctive, it's conjunctive. The magistrate goes on to say, these exhibits indicate that the written doctrine of Scientology not only discourages but prohibits one Scientologist from reporting another Scientologist in good standing to outside law enforcement. I don't think there's any other reading of that language other than to determine credibility, the court looked to 2 things: testimony of the women and Exhibit 5 and 6.
If a witness says I do a certain maneuver, a certain item, a certain way of acting, so I can go to heaven, does the judge has to find that there is such a thing as heaven to explain why a witness did something. If the judge looks at the Bible, says, okay, the witness believes in the Bible, so the witness is going to go and believes that the witness will go to heaven. Does the judge have to make a finding that there is a heaven, that the Bible is true?
No.
Okay.
Judge, not only does the judge not need to make it, the judge cannot make it. And that's the Ballard case that we cite to. Because once you start doing that, you're doing the foreboding under the First Amendment, and a finder of fact, judge, is interpreting something that the Supreme Court tells us a judge, a court, a trier of fact cannot interpret.
The only reason this came about is because in the course of cross-examination, the defense had asked Christina B. if after she had indicated that she had seen policies, she was shown policies. In fact, there was an ethics book that she was shown, it was in an ethics book, where it indicated to her, where it told her, where it instructed her that she is not to report. And that was her state of mind. Defense then decided on cross-examination to introduce the book, the introduction to Scientology ethics, and directed Christina B. to particular pages and asked her, do you see in here where it states that you are not to report to the police? It was the defense who used that piece of evidence in an attempt to try to discredit or to try to impeach the credibility of Christina B. The fact that, as the defense indicated, that the magistrate somehow grabbed onto the exhibits to determine the credibility, there's no evidence within the transcript to suggest that or to prove that. The court indicated its weight and its decision was based on both the testimony as well as the exhibits.
That quote, as it relates to the facts in this case, I find that the testimony of Jennifer B., Christina B., and N. Trout, P-R-O-U-T, is credible. And I believe is sufficient to support the charges for preliminary hearing purposes. Again, counsel states that it takes the findings as they are indicated, each word has meaning. I agree with you as to that part. I find, again, my limited aspect as a reviewing court solely as to this, I find that the findings of the magistrate are supported by substantial evidence, and of the standard I have before me, with sufficient evidence to deny the 995 that is denied.
All right, the case is moving forward, but you can see how the Church of Scientology is interwoven in this trial. And I don't know exactly what that does to it, but I want to get a little more clarity as to how all this is playing out. Joining us tonight from Los Angeles, California, LA Times reporter James Quealy is with us, who's been covering this. James, thanks so much for joining us. I know you've got a busy day every day out there in LA. Explain to us the relationship between this case and the Church of Scientology, and how all these things are sort of playing off each other.
Sure. So all of the victims in this case, all three women, were members of the church at the time they allege the assaults happened, as was and still is Danny Masterson. And the preliminary hearing that you referenced that happened, I believe, last May. Just check that. Yeah, last May. That was a couple of days where Scientology was all over the courts in that hearing. The victims repeatedly brought up the fact that they didn't go to police, that they were discouraged from going to the police to report these assaults by their faith, by their doctrine. There was one woman had testified that a church official told her to write a statement or relate this as the victim of the 2001 assault, saying she would take responsibility. Another had expressed fear that she would basically be, separated from her family and forced out of the church as a result of reporting an assault. So this was, something the defense had repeatedly brought up, obviously the idea that the women had not come forward in a timely manner. You obviously often see that in sexual assault cases. So to rebut that, the argument was made that these women were basically, holding back on coming forward because of their faith, because the church's doctrine discouraged that. Now, interestingly enough, the defense were actually the people who involved the church in the first place. You know, they had been fighting to keep the church out of the case for a while, pretty much since Masterson's arrest, trying to distance the church from this incident. And it was actually Mr. Masterson's attorney, Thomas Mesereau, who first raised documentation from within the church to actually try to undercut the credibility of Masterson's accusers, and that kind of opened the door to where we ended up now.
Unbelievable. I want to put up on the screen, there was a tweet I saw from Leah Remini, who has been very vocal, former member of Scientology. She has the reality show connected to it as well. And in her tweet, she writes, Scientology has repeatedly tried to subpoena my text and emails in the Danny Masterson matter. It's an attempt to distract from their criminal conduct. David Miscavige, I mean this with every piece of me. I will serve jail time before I hand over a single thing to you. James, do you have any more information about the connection of Leah Remini to all of what's happening in this case?
Sure. So first, when Masterson was first arrested in 2020, there have been complaints that this entire prosecution was being driven by the show that Leah Remini is involved in. Forgive me, I forget the name, but the Netflix documentary that has to do with her leaving the church and other people leaving the church, that somehow the people involved in that documentary had helped bring these women forward. And as you mentioned earlier in your intro, all of the accusers are also involved in a civil action against Masterson, also over sexual assault. So it's just been part of the broader defense criticism that these women are seeking money. The prosecution and the criminal complaints are all in furtherance of the show and in furtherance of the civil suit.
James Quealy from the LA Times, thanks for bringing some clarity to a very convoluted sort of situation there. We appreciate your time tonight. Thanks so much.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's bring in our think tank tonight. Joining us in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy. In Los Angeles, California, former federal prosecutor Leah Remini. And in Phoenix, Arizona, criminal defense attorney, the attorney who represented Jodi Arias and the author of the book series Trapped with Miss Arias, Kirk Nurmi is with us as well. Great to see everyone. I have to start in L.A. Sorry, Eklund, I'm starting in L.A. with Leah Remini. Leah, the Church of Scientology in L.A., how do you see that playing in this trial? Does that help Masterson? Does it hurt him? Will it influence this case at all?
It's a huge part of the case, Vinny, and Scientology is the reason that Masterson got access to these young women, the alleged victims. And the reason, at least, that they're going to argue they didn't immediately report it to law enforcement is because the church doctrine told them not to. You got to keep everything within the family. Even in the civil case, they're forcing this private arbitration before a group of elders at the church because that's what you agree to when you join the Church of Scientology. And this Netflix documentary, a lot of the press that it's gotten, it's going to help these victims because we know that the defense in these cases is always that it's made up, it's a money grab, it wasn't reported right away, and that's exactly what we're seeing by Tom Mesereau, obviously famous criminal defense attorney here in LA, and Masterson's defense team.
Eklund Mercy, how do you see the Scientology aspect of what is, it's a rape case, right? He's accused of being a serial rapist, 3 victims. 3 accusers will come into that courtroom, yet you've got this Scientology issue sort of percolating on the side, but now it seems to be center stage.
Oh, it's a whole information grab because it's all, depending on what type of attorney you are, it's all relevant. So it y'all should come in. So I'm curious to see what type of information comes in. I'm curious to see how they connect it because it can. So it's like I don't know how they're going to use it, but unfortunately it's going to be really bad news for the church because all of that is relevant. So it comes in opening up the church to more liability. So Danny Masterson may kind of win a point by throwing a whole organization under the bus.
That would be interesting. Kirk, your thoughts, what is the role of the Church of Scientology in this rape trial?
I think when we talk about just the rape trial and the evidence is coming forward, I think that the fact that these victims are willing to act in defiance of church mandates, right? They're not going to settle this. They're not going to go away quietly. They could lose their relationships with their family, et cetera, will actually boost their credibility because their motivation is going to be attacked. They're going for money, what have you. But they can say, listen, look what all I'm giving up to come forward and telling the truth. And I think those people might be the people that speak against the church as opposed to Mr. Madison.
And once again, the judge did not grant the defense motion, so this trial is moving forward. We'll continue to track it right here on your front row seat to justice. In the meantime, when we come back, the next live trial here on Court TV, one that has taken 8 years. Finally, now they're picking a jury, and we're getting a lot closer. Curtis Reeves, accused of shooting and killing Chad Olson in a movie theater because of an argument about texting. But tonight, we're going to take a look at the issue. Curtis Reeves, is this someone that seemed to have a problem with people in movie theaters and had confronted texters in the past? Julie Janae joins us when we come back.